And welcome everybody for joining us this afternoon. We have a great agenda lined up with lots of really interesting information about workforce and training programs that are available to employers here in El Paso. You have the agenda here on the screen. I'm Jackie Butler. I'm the Director of U.S. Operations for Bio Paso Juarez. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of Bio Paso Juarez in case you're not familiar. And then we're going to welcome Muriel Thomas Borders from the Texas Workforce Commission to give us an overview of the Skills Development Fund. Following Ms. Thomas Borders, we're going to have Dr. Amit Lopez from TMAC Paso del Norte, who's going to give us an overview of TMAC's training programs that are available to employers as well. So for those of you who are not familiar with Bio Paso Juarez, we are a 501c6 nonprofit organization that drives innovation, collaboration, growth, and resilience within the regional medical device sector. We're a formal collaboration between the MCA Foundation in El Paso and the Cruz del Biomédico de Juárez in Ciudad Juárez, and we formed just 2.5 years ago and have over 40 members made up of manufacturers, suppliers, service providers, economic development organizations, education institutions, and much more. So we'd like to welcome you today. And one of the reasons that Bio Paso Juarez exists is because of the industry that is continuing to grow here in our region. So for those of you who work in this space or who are interested in working in this space, you know that we have over 40 really world-renowned medical device manufacturers that are working here in the region, creating this really great and robust ecosystem for medical device manufacturing. And so our mission as an organization is to see this, is to nurture this industry and help it to continue to grow. Which means what we're doing today, which is working on talent development and workforce development. And it's one of our key strategic priorities as an organization, supporting any types of training and education programs that will help with upskilling or reskilling the workforce and helping employers and suppliers and manufacturers continue to take advantage and work within the medical device manufacturing industry. Some of our other strategic priorities are in innovation and supply chain development, and overall, we're always focused on promoting the industry and supporting the efforts that are already underway here in the region. So I just wanted to put my counterparts' contact information here for you in case you wanted to reach out and discuss any of these initiatives or strategic priorities. And I will be happy to hand it off to Muriel Thomas Borders with Texas Workforce Commission now. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so that we can transition to her. And in the meantime, I will just give you some housekeeping. So we will be recording this session and posting it for you all. So you should have a link to the recording of the session in your inbox by the end of this week. Additionally, we will have time for Q&A. So if you have any questions during the next two presentations, feel free to put those in the chat or wait until after the presentations and we can have a discussion on those. And Muriel, it's all yours if you want to share your screen.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for having me. Okay, let me share my screen and get this started. All right, very good. As Jackie stated, my name is Muriel Thomas Borders. I am with the Texas Workforce Commission's Office of Employer Initiatives Skills Development Fund. I am the Regional Project Development and Outreach Representative for the Far West Texas region. So everything you see in the light green box, which includes Panhandle, South Plains, Borderplex, and Permian Basin, are the areas which I serve. So under TWC's Office of Employer Initiatives, we have a well-rounded portfolio of programs that can offer assistance with respect to training needs to Texas employers. We have the Skills Development Fund, the Skills for Small Business, Recruit Texas, Self-Sufficiency Fund, Texas Industry Partnership, High Demand Job Training, JET, which is Jobs and Education and education for Texans. And then we also have a dual credit program. For today's purpose, we're going to talk about Skills Development Fund. The Skills Development Fund is a premier job training program for customized training for Texas employers. The Skills Development Fund was created by the Texas Legislature in 1995 and implemented in 1996. The funding source for skills development, our skills funding programs, is the state's general revenue funding. The funds are available to private, for-profit businesses, business consortium, and trade unions. And the goal of SDF is to increase the skill levels and ultimately the wages of the Texas workforce. So it's part of that upskilling initiative that we hear quite often through Texas. For the fiscal biennium 2021, TWC did receive $48 million in appropriated funds for skills development, which is about approximately 24 million each year. For the Skills Development Fund, the eligible applicants that can apply for this in partnership with a business, an eligible business, are, of course, the local workforce development boards, public colleges, which include public technical colleges, and the Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service. The eligible applicant, which is the board or one of the other eligible applicant, will work with a business partner to help you to identify your training needs. The eligible applicant will also work with the business partner to put together your training proposal and to develop and administer the curriculum. The eligible applicant would also complete your proposal on behalf of the business partner. The applicant, which would be the local workforce development board or one of the other applicants, would receive the actual funding, would administer the grant, administer the training, and be involved or responsible for any reporting associated with that grant funding. There are some parameters around Skills Development Fund, around the Skills Development Fund. A business partner, an eligible business partner, is eligible to receive up to $500,000 to meet their customized training needs. The average cost, the targeted average cost for a trainee that TWC is looking at is $2,000, and that is per training. And of course, again, the purpose is to upskill your permanent full-time employees, both new and incumbent. One of the things that eligible employers must be responsible for is while the trainees are attending training, they must pay the prevailing wage for the local workforce area. So for each of the trainees funded under the grant. Further skills development partner roles are that Texas employers participating in Skills Development Fund, or SDF, will work with the eligible applicant to complete a private party information form. They have to meet all of the TWC regulatory requirements. They have to pay their staff the local prevailing wages. They have to pay trainees wages while they are participating in training. And of course, the business partner is responsible to ensure that the trainees attend and complete all of the training and training program requirements as laid out in their training plan and MOU that's established between the grantee and the business. At some point, once the project has been approved, the business is also responsible to provide trainee social security numbers to TWC. And the reason for those social security numbers is for reporting purposes. Once the business partner has completed the training for all of their trainees, the trainees that have successfully completed must be retained for a minimum of 90 days. Okay. The eligible applicant, which in this case would be the local workforce development board or one of the others that we mentioned, they would work with the business partner to complete the project proposal application. They would submit the application on behalf of the business partner. They would work with the business partner to develop the training, the curriculum, develop course scheduling, and of course, delivery and implementation of the training. And then, as I mentioned earlier, they'd also be responsible for reporting, any reporting related to the grant project. Then, of course, for the Skills Development Fund, the partner, which in this case, we're talking about the Local Workforce Solutions Workforce Development Board, they can assist you in the following areas with the work in Texas, employer business services, labor market information, career information, and of course, the Skills Development Fund. For the Skills Development Fund, Mariel Soto, and she is on this webinar, and she will say a few words afterwards. She would be your contact for this particular program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Skills Development Fund process. So how do you get started? The first step in getting started with the Skills Development Fund process is to determine if your company qualifies. So the qualifications that the company would be looking for, of course, is that you have to have paid employees for which the company pays unemployment insurance, or UI. You have to be current on those UI taxes. You have to have permanent full-time employees and be paying those employees at the 25th percentile of the prevailing wage for the local workforce development area. And then, of course, all of that information would go on a private partner information form, which would be submitted on behalf of the business by the Workforce Development Board. That process typically takes about a week. And what you're seeing on your screen right now is two of the questions on the private partner information form that the business partner would be responsible for answering. And again, we collect all of the information regarding the business. And then, of course, any employee benefits that you'll be paying your trainees while they're going through training. The next step, of course, once the business has been deemed eligible to participate, the next step is to identify what the training needs are, identify which occupational or job titles that will be participating in the training, and to determine the number of new and upgraded jobs that will be included. Of course, you'd have to identify your hourly wage range, the minimum and the maximum for each participating occupational title. And just a side note for this, it's always better to know your actual wages for each employee that will be participating in the training. One of the other parameters for Skills Development Fund is that the incumbent workers, upon successful completion of the training and by the time that the grant is closed, they have to receive a wage increase of at least a 1% minimum. Okay. And that is only for incumbent workers, not new workers. The third step, of course, is your curriculum development. So this typically is about a 3-week process. Of course, you've identified what your training needs are. So now you're going to work with the local workforce development board and the subject matter expert, whether it be with the training provider and within your company, to identify your training courses, to complete a training matrix, and to coordinate meetings with the subject matter experts, both with the training provider and within your organization. And again, you'll work with the eligible applicant or the local workforce board to determine your course durations, any assessments needed for the training classes, any materials and supplies that are needed. Now, for the Skills Development Fund, there are 2 categories of training. There's the business technical training and there's the general technical training. Business technical training is defined as those industry-specific trainings, industry-specific or occupational-specific trainings. I'll give you some examples. So it could be a nursing certification, it could be mechanical maintenance, pneumatics, something that's related to the core of what the business does. General, and that has to be at least 55% of the total training hours for the training project. The other category is general technical. General technical are those foundational skills, and we can also include non-technical skills such as your soft skills. Those can be up to 45% of the total training hours. Some examples of those would be Microsoft Office training, leadership, communication, Microsoft Office, things of that nature, OSHA training, etc. And this is just a graphical presentation. Of course, this is a manufacturing example. We have, if this was a manufacturing company applying 55% of their business technical, some of those training courses could be pneumatics, hydraulics, robotics, and then the general and non-technical, we're showing the OSHAs, the lean, lockout, tagout, etc. And then the fourth and final step is to finalize and submit your application to TWC for evaluation. Now, I just have to put this disclaimer. So the process of putting together a project is typically about 8 weeks. It could be less, it could be more, depending on the size of your project. TWC will typically take up to 45 days for the approval and notification process. So I think it's important to keep this in mind when you're thinking about your training needs and your timeline that you want to roll out your training. So the fourth step or final step is you finalize, well, the eligible applicant will work with you and finalize your proposal. They will submit the final proposal to TWC for evaluation. Then TWC may, during their evaluation process, they may request information to clarify anything that is not clear. And during that process, it's very important, the response time, because that obviously affects the amount of time that it takes to finalize this process. Your TWC regional rep, which in this case is me, will act as a liaison between the eligible applicant and TWC evaluation. The eligible applicant will receive the notification from TWC regarding approval or denial of the application. And then I've just kind of laid out kind of a graphical representation of what the process looks like from the TWC side, the eligible applicant, and the business partner. Of course, the first step starts with an agreement from the business partner to do the project. Then we move into proposal development. Once the proposal is developed, we submit the private partner information form, which will then be reviewed by TWC. Once TWC reviews and approved it, then we do the application. We submit the application to TWC for evaluation. If it's awarded, congratulations, contract management and training begin, and then which ultimately ends in highly trained, upskilled employees and better worker performance, retention, growth. You all know the benefits of training. And so now I'm going to, this is my contact information, although again, Mariel Soto is your contact with the local Workforce Solutions Borderplex. And I believe Mariel is here. I don't know if you want to say a couple of things, Mariel. I will hand it over to you.
Sure, thank you. So good afternoon, my name is Mariel Soto. I'm sorry, I can't hear the echo. There we go. Yes, as Miriam mentioned, I'm the representative from the local workforce. We are the Workforce Solutions Borderplex, and I'm here to assist you if you're interested in this opportunity. We're gonna have a Q&A, but if you have additional questions on this project and how you can take advantage of it, you can contact me directly and we can work it out. I can help you go through the whole process that Muriel just explained. It's fairly simple. It's a lot of information, but that's something that you already have in your hands. So I can take you through the whole process. We, the Workforce Solutions Borderplex, we have been awarded this grant, the Skills Development Fund. So we're ready to work with you. Right now, we're working with TMAC for our training providers. So I'm gonna pass it up to Dr. Amit Lopez, so he can tell you a little bit more about the trainings that he has available for you all.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm just gonna share my screen here. Okay, so my name is Amit Lopez. I'm the regional director for TMAC Paso del Norte for our region. We are hosted at UTEP. UTEP is our host institution, and our primary mission is to work with small and medium manufacturers in our region. Just to take a step back, we are part of a national haulings manufacturing extension partnership, MEP. So what that means is we have access nationwide to any expertise, training need, implementation assistance that our regional manufacturers may need. For the most part, the expertise that we have locally suffice, but being part of this national manufacturing extension partnership allows us to tap into any specific need that our regional small and medium manufacturer may have. So just we have about 400 centers nationwide that are serving small and medium manufacturers specific in their region. Just from survey data from 2020, the customers that we served, about 27,500, reported about 13 billion in sales or retained sales, and they reported about 105,000 jobs, retained jobs from the projects that we did with those specific industries. In our state, we are part of representing 8 different regions in our state. As I said, we are hosted at UTEP, but there is TMAC at Texas Tech. They take care of the Panhandle area. We have the host institution for us is housed in UT Arlington out in Dallas Metroplex area. Lamar University is our newest member. We also have presence at Texas A&M TEACS. Houston is being served by the Beehive Fund. San Antonio, Austin area is being looked out by the Southwest Research Institute. And South Texas is being served by the host institution, UTRGV. So once again, we are spread out throughout the state. And as I said, that allows us to network and provide any source of resource for our local manufacturers. We have had personnel from Southwest Research Institute, UT Arlington, UTRGV come up and assist us in serving our local customers. So that kind of network and bandwidth help us serve more and more customers, which is our primary mission. Some of the main industry sectors are listed here throughout the state. We support a majority of these industries. Locally, we have a strong presence in pharmaceutical and medical equipment, fabricated metal products. Automotive sector is fairly big, electronic semiconductor, computer equipment manufacturers, if you look in Juarez. Regionally, with UTEP as the key lead, we're trying to get more into the aerospace realm. We have some resources available near the Fabens Airport where we're trying to build up this consortium and trying to recruit more aerospace specific tier 2, tier 3 suppliers and serve the community and develop the economy in our region that way. All right, so I'm going to spend a majority of my time on this slide, which is the type of training and implementation services that TMAC provides. We have recently brought all our services under these 5 pillars that you see. So products, people, technology, profits, and processes primarily. Okay, so under the products, what we help companies with is provide training and implementation in new product development. So under non-disclosure agreements, we kind of serve entrepreneurs and any existing company that is trying to develop a new product. We can take them, provide them training in that aspect, or also help them implement that aspect. We can also look at new designs for their products and what design complexities from a design for manufacturability standpoint, what that will entail. We also promote verification and validation concepts of these products, and we have training courses available to cover those aspects. Most familiar with TMAC is the process side of things. So we are very active in providing Lean Six Sigma certifications, yellow belt, green belt, black belt. And we are very active in productivity-based analysis, starting from value stream mapping, the use of A3 projects, use of project management type of implementations. Also, regulatory and compliance. So you talk about your OSHA guidelines, FDA approvals, ISO 9001, 13485, IATF. So any regulatory and compliance type of courses and implementation assistance can be provided by us. And the courses that we have are the way we can offer them is very flexible. So if the organization is in need of a particular schedule or a particular time, we can work with that organization to provide that. COVID has brought in hybrid training into the realm here, so we can provide training on-site at a neutral venue such as BioEPG or UTEP or Workforce Solutions Borderplex, or we can provide it in an online setting using the different technologies available to us. Speaking of technology training and services, we are making a strong push both at TMAC and at UTEP about the smart manufacturing principles. So we are looking at providing training in automation and digitization of manufacturing environments. We have a small setup at UTEP that is promoting Industry 4.0 type of technologies. We call it PLC programming, the use of data analytics and data visualization, how digitization can and take care of automated quality aspects. So all those training programs are available. We recently got a grant from SESME, the Clean Energy Smart Manufacturing Innovation Institute, to develop a smart manufacturing certificate program. So it will be a series of 5 courses where at the end of it, you will get a smart manufacturing certificate issued by TMAC and UTEP, which I think the relevance of where manufacturing is going, not just the automation and digitization, but how we can remotely run our facilities. I think knowledge in some of those specific environments has compelled us to get expertise in this and subsequently offer those expertise to our local small and medium manufacturers. Cybersecurity then comes into play when we are talking about network and connected manufacturing facilities. So we are getting up to speed on the NIST ISO NIST 800-171 standard, as well as the CMMC standard. So we are going to provide here very soon workshops that are about 3 hours long, where we teach companies how to evaluate their cyber infrastructure and how to ensure that they can be compliant. This is being asked of suppliers that are wanting to work with the DoD and aerospace area. So I think it's very relevant to our manufacturers. We also work with people, so which is the key resource available to the manufacturing companies. So we use TWI principles to implement training effectiveness, jobs relations, job instructions, job methods, job safety. We also have a course on manufacturing supervisor certification, where we kind of combine a few of the lean principles, the leadership principles, the communication principles with TWI, and give potential supervisors or existing supervisors a good platform with which they can manage their subordinates. We also have courses related to leadership development, how to understand or take a big picture view of the manufacturing operations and look at principles such as Hoshin Kanri and project management, to kind of manage the different areas of people development available to the upper management folks. Finally, the end goal of all these trainings and services is to enable high profits for our small and medium enterprises. So we can do a business evaluation, a core value assessment of any business, and provide them with or how they can leverage that either in getting good rates in future investments, or if they are planning to become part of a bigger organization, how they can present themselves. If they are looking at developing a new product, COVID has also enabled our local manufacturers to quickly respond to making PPE equipment, masks, face shields, etc. But we can promote or help them with how to do a proper market assessment and market promotion of those particular analysis. With entrepreneuring or new product task comes certain risks. So we help or we can provide training and services related to managing and understanding risks associated with this particular new business that we are trying to venture into, and also finally can understand or help understand cash flow analysis. So the concepts of moving products adequately and making sure that the revenue then can be reinvested in the business adequately. So I think I went through them fairly quickly, but just wanted to give a snapshot of all these particular 5 pillars. There is courses within those pillars that we can offer. One good thing that TMAC does specifically is customize a training to a particular cohort or a particular type of industry. So any training, we can make it specific to a particular or to address the unique challenges, be it a biomedical or an aerospace or an automotive. And we can, again, as I said before, offer those courses in a very flexible manner that fits the needs of the customer. So with that said, this is my information here. The TMAC and UTEP, as I said, we are hosted at UTEP, and we are part of the Texas Manufacturing Assistance Center. There is a couple of links that you can look at, which gives you more detailed information of our core mission and all the activities that we do. Currently, TMAC also has some COVID-specific funding where we can help some companies navigate this uncertain time until they get back to pre-COVID operations. So the website tmac.org has an application that you can fill out, and we can support you in any capacity that you may need. Okay, thank you for your time. And I think there is a Q&A at the end, so I'll be more than happy to answer any specific questions at that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez, and thank you, Muriel and Mariel, for your information and presentation. So the floor is open to anybody who has questions. If you are interested in any of the training programs that Dr. Lopez mentioned, or think your company could benefit from any of those programs, now's your chance to ask questions about how to get it done. We still have Muriel and Mariel on the line. So if you have questions about the process, the application process, or anything that Muriel went over in terms of qualifications and requirements, please feel free to ask those questions now. I do have one question, and I don't know, Mariel or Muriel, if you have the answer to this, but you mentioned that employers must abide by the local prevailing wages. Where could employers find that information?
Most definitely. So with respect to the local prevailing wages, that is something that myself and Mariel would help them to determine. We wouldn't just leave them to work on that. Although if they wanted to find this information, it is available through the Texas Workforce Commission's website. We have a labor market information website. So that information is available there. Although during the process, once the business decides they want to participate, that is something that myself and Mariel will actually help them with. Basically, they would give us a listing of the employees with their salary ranges, and then we would help them to determine the standard occupational codes, as well as what the prevailing wage for that occupational code should be, and to ensure that they're within the range.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
So if somebody says, okay, I would like to take advantage of some of this training that TMAC has to offer, where do they start? Do they talk to Dr. Lopez first, or do they talk to Mariel first to start that process?
Yeah, they can come to me and we can start that process. What I'll be doing is sharing the application that Muriel will just share. It's the same information that it's going to be about the business itself, and then we'll move on into the training. And this is where we're going to tag Dr. Lopez to help us figure it out, which is going to be the best schedule for the specific company.
Great. So basically, Mariel, you hold the employer's hand through the entire process from beginning to end and really take a lot of that administrative work off of their hands.
That's correct. Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, hello, I have a question. Hello, everybody. My name is Guadalupe Tapia. Jackie knows me. I'm a high school teacher. And I know, not anything with any kind of organization with the business. But I think I have a question because I'm teaching biotechnology to my students. And right now there is a biotechnology pathway implemented by the Texas Education Agency that is for 3 years. So now my seniors are graduating with the skills that later they can do using like in research or working in a laboratory. And that's what's one of my questions, like how they can start like maybe looking for a place that they can be hired, even with the basics, they know how to use autoclave, how to micropipette, the things, how to do PCR, electrophoresis. And that would be one of the, very good opportunity for my students when they finish, that they can go and maybe train or work. I don't know. That was my question. But these are high school students.
So Ms. Tapia, I can tell you that the Workforce Solutions has many resources, and we have a team that's specific for the youth. So if you want to, you can send me an email and I'll connect you with the manager for the youth. And I'm sure we can find you something, and there's so many other ways that we can collaborate with you and your students.
Okay, well, thank you, Maria. Yes, I will for sure contact you. I have your email right now. Thank you very much. Thank you for your answer.
And then just to add to that, that's another thing that the local Workforce Development Board can also help with. TWC actually has apprenticeship programs, and I believe that the board works with TWC to implement those apprenticeship programs, so that it's always a good way for those students to get their foot in the door and kind of build on their skills and work with someone who's already at a higher skill level. So, and Mariel could give you that information as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Is there a minimum amount of employees to be part of the skills development fund?
Sure.
So like, do they have to, is it 10 employees or 2 employees? What's the range?
Right. So that is typically going to be up to the training provider, because clearly it has to be doable for the training provider. So depending upon the course and the course cost, because the more trainees you have in a course, the lower the course cost gets, obviously. So it's going to depend. Most that I have done, most of the projects I've done, they need at least 5 to 6 people in one course to get those costs down. So it is going to depend on the training provider and the course that's being offered.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions for the team here?
Just to add to that comment that Muriel made, in this case, that's where a cohort of companies can then make that happen. So if one company has just 2 and another company has 6 and another company has 4, and they need the same type of training, that's an ideal scenario, obviously.
Exactly. Yep. And that's where the consortium of businesses, and one thing I will say, and I think that Mariel alluded to it. So TWC with COVID, we have learned a lot of things. So we have kind of retooled our programs. And I know that Workforce Solutions Borderplex was the recipient of special COVID funding for businesses that were directly impacted by COVID. And I don't know, Mario, if you want to talk more about that, but we have also retooled our SDF project. So we have kind of, it's the same bucket of money, but the processes are a little different. So basically, the Workforce Solutions Borderplex can apply for a pool of funds, kind of like a line of credit. And so that way they've already been approved for that funding. And so they can take employees from multiple businesses to offer that training. So even though it's not really a consortium under an SDF program, it's still a pool of funding that if there's a need within this area of industry, that they can take multiple businesses with employees from each business and put them in that training. And I just wanted to add, because I know that we said that the regular SDF process could be up to a 3 to 4 month process. With this shell funding that Workforce Solutions Borderplex has at their disposal, it's a much faster process, which could be turned around within a month to 2 months. So keep that in mind also.
That's great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I know we're about 45 minutes past the hour, so we have a few more minutes of Q&A in case you have any other doubts or burning questions in mind related to this. No? Well, I think you have everybody's contact information, and as I mentioned, this this program has been recorded, and you'll be able to share it or come back have any questions regarding the material. But in any case, we thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. And please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want to learn more about anything that we discussed. And thank you so much to our speakers and our collaborators at Workforce Solutions Borderplex and at TMAC for all of your support and all of your help. Thank you.
All right.
So much. We appreciate your
Thank
time.
you so
Take care,
much
everyone.
for
Stay
attending.
safe.
Have a great afternoon. Be safe. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.